For the past couple of weeks, we've been staying in an Airbnb in a small little mountain town called Eldora in Colorado. Just this morning, we packed up our things and moved back into our Airstream travel trailer. We're going to be staying in the Airstream for the next month or so. We drove out about an hour and a half, 2 hours to another mountain town in Colorado. We're staying in the Dillon, Silverthorne area. Wait until you see our campsite. We're staying at a National Forest Service campground. It's absolutely stunning, has mountain views. We got to the campground, got set up, and after being in the car for a few hours, we all wanted to get out to come and stretch our legs. So right now we're out hiking with the dogs, and this trail is called the Old Dillon Reservoir Trail. Nothing crazy, a little under 2 miles, but we're happy to be outside and enjoying this beautiful area. We just exited out of those trees and came upon this view. Oh my goodness. So this is called the Dillon Reservoir back here. And then right on the other side of the trail, I'm guessing this is the Old Dillon Reservoir. So we're just getting back to the car. That was absolutely better than I expected. A beautiful way to start our time in this area. And now we're gonna go pick up some Chipotle for dinner, because one thing about this campground is that there are no hookups. So while we typically cook a lot of our meals in the trailer, we don't have any water and limited capacity in our tanks also. So we're gonna use that as an excuse to treat ourselves a few times this week.
Are you going to get some Chipotle? Is anybody hungry?
Got the goods?
Got the goods. Extra napkins in case things get out of hand.
Oh no! So we just finished our Chipotle. Paul's extra full.
Trying to walk off the 2,500 calories I just ate.
And we're gonna go watch the sunset at the lake, because there's a trail that leads right from our campground. So it's day 2 here at camp, and we've had a pretty relaxing day. This morning we woke up and went into Frisco, which is a nearby town, to get some delicious breakfast. I had an amazing bagel and Paul had some eggs and toast. It's a bakery, so everything was homemade there. It was really, really good, and we got some cookies that were also baked there. But then we just came home, we worked, and I did a kettlebell workout here in front of the Airstream. Our campsite is pretty private here, which is nice because I've been trying to still get workouts in while we've been in the Airstream and in Airbnbs, and it's nice that we have a little bit of a private area right here. It's a little bit later in the afternoon now, and we're about to get the dogs out for a walk. I think we're just gonna stick around the trails that are right around our campsite. One of the bonuses of staying in a National Forest Service campground is that while you typically aren't going to have any hookups, which means you don't have electricity, you don't have water hookups, you don't have anywhere to dump your tanks, so you really have to conserve all your resources, which is a little bit more difficult than being at a full hookup campground. They are typically in incredible locations. So we just walked a minute down the hill like we did last night, and we're already on a trail that's right next to the beautiful Dillon Reservoir. And you typically wouldn't have that if you were staying in a regular RV park. And we're still figuring out how much electricity we can use, how much water we can use, because we're still kind of new to this RV life, but so far so good. We've been here for over 24 hours now, and today when we were just leaving, our battery was at 93%. We've been using a solar panel, which has been helping immensely, and just conserving water. You definitely have a huge bonus to be in such scenic locations when you do stay at a campground in the national forest. Anytime we're in a new place, Paul is always very interested in knowing everything he can about that place, all of the history, how things were created. So you found out something really interesting about the Dillon Reservoir last night.
In, I think, 1961, as they were preparing to clear the land and build the Dillon Reservoir, they actually had to relocate an entire town, the town of Dillon, a mile up the slope to where it currently is. So they not only relocated all the residents, but they took apart, disassembled all the buildings, and then completely rebuilt them a mile outside of where the existing town was at the time.
Wow, I didn't know they took apart all the buildings and re-put them together.
Yeah,
I thought they just demolished everything.
No, they took them apart and moved them and then put them back together so they could build this giant lake.
Wow. Imagine living somewhere for who knows how long.
Since the 1880s.
And then when did they come and build like when did they move everybody?
1961 to 1963.
So people could have been there for like many, many years.
80 years.
Yeah, imagine someone coming and being like, sorry, we're building a lake on top of your house. We're gonna take apart your house and re-put it back together.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
It's day 3 here at camp, and we've had a really nice day so far. Paul went out, rode his mountain bike, and I took the dogs back down to the lake, and we just spent some time relaxing by the water. It was such a beautiful day today. Now we're headed out for a little evening adventure. Breckenridge is only about 20 minutes from where we're staying, so we're headed down there to do a drive called Boreas Pass. Should have some really pretty views, and I think it's gonna be a really beautiful night. So we're up here at the top of Boreas Pass. This drive has been absolutely beautiful so far. The top of this pass is almost at 11,500 feet, so we're pretty high up here, and there's some pretty cool history here as well. So there used to be a railroad that ran through this area and came up through the top of the pass. I believe it went from Denver to Leadville maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. And back behind me, there's still some railroad tracks, and on the other side of the road, there's a railroad crossing. This also is part of the Continental Divide.
This is the spot to watch the sunset. We've been watching the sunsets often. We're about a half mile from the top, and man, is it awesome.
As we're sitting up on this hill watching the sun go down, a guy rode his bike up the street, and Paul always ends up talking to bikers because he's a big biker, and asked him how far he was going today.
And he said that he's riding from Banff, Canada to Mexico, and his name was Jake, and he was riding the whole what did he say? Like
whole-
Tour Divide, maybe?
I think that's what he called it.
Yeah.
Probably the whole continent.
Yeah, the whole continental divide.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tour Divide. He was riding it all on a single speed, which means that he has no gears. So he's in the same gear every single time, whether you're downhill or uphill. No gears. And to top it all off, he was doing the entire thing in a pair of camo Crocs.
Yeah, in Crocs.
Total legend.
Yeah, so inspiring. So cool to see. Yeah.
What a beast.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So I'm glad we stayed to meet Jake and to watch the sun go down.
Yep.
It's day 4, and yesterday Breckenridge was so beautiful that we decided to come back out this way for a hike today. Today we're doing a hike called Hoosier, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Pass. It's a little under 3 miles, about 700 feet of climbing. And while that sounds pretty easy, this hike begins at over 11,500 feet. And by the end of the hike, we're up above 12,000. So this is going to be the highest we have hiked in a long time. I can already feel the elevation a bit. The dogs are running back and forth. They definitely don't care at all. We're getting drizzled on just a little bit, but we looked at the radar. It should just pass over and stay pretty light the whole time. So hopefully that's the case. So even though it's summertime, here in the Colorado mountains up this high, there's still a good bit of snow left up here. Looks like we're gonna have a bit of a snow crossing over a snow field here, and I'm in sandals. My hiking sandals, nonetheless.
It should be grippy.
Nothing I haven't done before.
On your way to the beach?
We made it across safely. Really wasn't bad at all. It was very packed down and there were lots of footprints from other people. But now we're getting rained on, even harder. And after this, we're headed into the community center to go take some showers. Paul has been going there to shower. Like I said, we don't have hookups this camping trip, so we really have to conserve our water and our tank space. And I have been taking the fastest showers of my entire life this week. But after this, it's gonna feel so good to go take a nice hot shower with lots of hot water. Doug and Jackson are clearly unfazed by the rain.
So we started at 11,500, 11,600. We climbed 635 feet. So that's roughly 12,235 feet.
Feels pretty good if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't feel out of breath, honestly. Which is crazy.
I could do without the rain.
And the hail.
And the hail.
And the wind.
No thunder or lightning though, which is the main thing you want to worry about. So even though this would be better on a nicer day, you can't say the views aren't amazing. And when we left our campsite, I think it was like 75 degrees, pretty sunny, and now it's probably like 50 degrees. Definitely a big difference when you come up in elevation.
So I have this really cool app on my phone that I can point at the mountains. It's called Peak Finder. And I can point it at the mountains and figure out what peak is what. That's a 14er called Mount Lincoln. All those mountains in the back are like 13,900, so almost 14ers. And then Shannon has been talking about Quandary Peak, which is that mountain right there. So we're close enough. We essentially climbed 2 14ers today.
We're just about 2,000 feet off.
Yeah.
From what I've read, Quandary Peak back there is one of the more popular 14ers to climb in Colorado. Colorado has over 50 14ers.
52.
52? I thought I read 54.
Maybe 54.
52 or 54, something like that, 14ers, which just means that the peak is over 14,000 feet. We haven't climbed a 14er before, but it's definitely on our list. So we're back down here in the trees. Instantly, it's warmer with less wind, totally different than being up there. So we're almost back at the car as well, and now it's time to go get some nice hot showers.
And groceries for chili.
Yes, we decided that the only option for dinner tonight was chili.
Because we're chilly.
Because we're chilly. So it's day 5 here at camp, and you might be wondering, well, what happened to day 4? So yesterday we woke up and we had a pretty normal start to the day, and then we realized that our solar panel wasn't bringing in any power. So we spent hours trying to figure that out and figure out what was going on. There was a lot of rain yesterday, so we didn't know if maybe something got wet, but everything is supposed to be totally waterproof. So we spent some time talking to customer support with Renogy, which is the company that makes our solar panel and our batteries. They thought we might need to send it in for a warranty claim, which would definitely be a hassle while we're on the road. A couple of hours later, Paul decided to check the fuse. I'm not exactly sure where the fuse is, maybe near the batteries, and the fuse was blown. So last night we went to the hardware store and we got a new fuse, and when we woke up this morning, thankfully the solar panel was pulling in power again. Yesterday was pretty much just taken over by taking care of that and figuring that out. Thank goodness it's working properly. We don't need to worry about sending it back and getting a new one. It's Friday morning and we're currently just packing up and getting ready to get on the road to head to our next destination. I wanted to share some of the things that I tried to do on the inside. Paul takes care of everything on the outside of the trailer while we're packing up and getting ready to move, but I do everything on the inside. So this is not an exhaustive list, but some of the things that I do are, one, I like to make sure that our fridge is set for traveling. I kind of try to make sure that things are secure because every time I open it, by the time we get to our next place, things have always moved around. We've had some glass things break before, so I try to be extra careful with the way we pack the fridge. I like to make sure that all of our vents that are on the ceiling, all of those are closed. I make sure that the top of our stove is all secure, closed up. We put the cutting board that goes on top of our sink right on top here. And then right before we hit the road, I make sure that all of the lights are off. We'll turn our battery disconnect switch on. And then we also like to turn the fridge off. Some people are okay with driving with their propane tanks on, and therefore they can leave their fridge running. Just a personal preference. We are new to RVing and we feel that it's safer just to turn our propane tanks off and shut our fridge off while we're on the road. Thankfully, we've never had an issue with that. It kind of just acts like a cooler. So when we hit the road, Paul bought me this Yeti wine glass, which I love, and I don't need to worry about it breaking. But I did tell him recently, I sometimes miss using my really nice glassware, a really nice thin wine glass. You just can't beat it. Paul recently went to our storage unit, and I have this stored safely on our bed right now, and he got me my wine glass out of the storage unit, and I have it wrapped in some bubble wrap. Now, I know we're risking it breaking, but yeah, just something funny and nice Paul did for me recently. So we're just about all packed up and getting ready to hit the road now. We're headed to another beautiful destination in Colorado next, and we're super excited. So if you're not already, we'd love if you subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. In a National Forest Service campground is really great day so far. It's getting a little bit late and we're ready to get head.
You're a grotch. You're a heckin' grotch. Grotch.
We've been boondocking for 5 nights and
It's a rocky mountain. Wow, can't wait to have chili.